G'day everyone. Proud to say Barkarati is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners. Welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name is Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors. But of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
Well, it is early for you, isn't it? I'm sorry to have to do this. But hey, can I say one thing, Jay?
What's that, bud?
I am loving the international 1 metre worlds coverage. You are doing such a cool job.
I almost missed my intro then because I was used to doing another intro.
No, I'm being serious. No, it's really going well. Loving it.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. One of Bicey's childhood mates is the man behind everything, Weet-Bix, and Grant Cooper in the 1 metre worlds, and she is a cracker, and this will go to air today, so there's still another day of watching on the stream, and it's getting pretty serious. There's some fun stuff going on, but yeah, thanks BP, I appreciate the kind words, mate. I'll bring in the other bloke so he can say the nasty words.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice?
Well, there has been some criticisms.
Oh!
One.
Do tell.
Well, okay. So the now new Commodore, the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, Mike Holmes.
No, I have no
he
respect.
Had a
for
word in my ear yesterday. It was the opening day at the CYCSA yesterday, where I received my retiring Commodore Burgee, which will be flown proudly from the Barkarati Express.
Did they give you half a Burgee because you only did half the year or something like that?
No. 2 years. 2 years.
Okay.
Admittedly, the last year wasn't at full capacity in saying that, but I didn't get my opportunity to give my speech to Mike Holmes,
right?
The new Commodore. Maybe I could do it now, actually.
Yeah, go on.
Well, before that, though, like Holmes, he just said all he could hear, Jordan, was your commentating, but he couldn't see you.
No.
He wanted to see your beautiful face. He wanted to see some punch-ups on the shore in the international 1 metres. So he almost wanted to see a bit of a roving reporter.
Yeah.
Which maybe today, is it today the last day for you?
No, another day after this. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. There you go. The world's longest world titles. But anyway, so to Mike Holmes, he's actually the only Commodore coming in without owning a boat because he sold the Magic, the Mum 36. So I've taken the liberty of passing on the Barkarati Express to him.
Oh, nice work.
It's part of the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. It's gone into the accounts book. Kerry's put it on his account. It's all there. He's taken over the berth. He's going to take over the boat. And word of advice, there's no Commodore's credit, which I thought I had until the end of the year when I got my invoice. So good on you, Mick. You're going to be a good Commodore. Got a good team behind you. Good day yesterday. So, yeah, let's go.
Wow.
Love it. Well done. Nice words.
Genuine speech. That was the actual genuine speech. Well done.
No, I haven't written it, but I had it written on the back of my hand. But after all the dancing last night, it all wore off.
Cool.
So,
very cool. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So there's plenty happening. We're all spread around. The cup's finished. We into the 1 metre worlds. We're into the Vendée. Life's getting good. We're having a grand old time in the world of sailing. So let's continue with our guest this week, shall we, boys?
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Our guest this week's been involved in 4 America's Cups, 8 years on the 52 Super Series, won a couple of World Match Racing Champs, won the Sydney-Hobart, Copa Del Rey, Maxi Worlds, Fastnet Race, Key Race Week. Reasonably solid resume, one would say.
Not to mention just a damn good bloke.
Just a damn good bloke. Yep. Done a bit of talking on TV, as well. with some of the America's Cup and Sail GP. So he's got some credibility, as much as we've got credibility, I suppose.
Don't get too carried away, mate.
Yeah. No. Keep it cool.
Yeah,
But
no.
this man is the real cred right here.
Right, street cred. All right, let's bring him to the show. We're very happy to have on bar karate Mr. Matt Cornwall. Most people would know as Catflap. How are you, mate?
Hi, I'm good. How are you gents doing? Thanks for having me on the show.
It's been a long time coming, mate. But trying to organise this is like trying to organise a NASA launch.
Been talking about
Trying to
it for a
get
while.
everyone together in the same spot. But it's good to have you, man.
Yeah. And we're all still in different places, but through the miracles of the internet, here we are.
Very cool.
How are we all doing?
Catflap. So, mate, just more recent times, you got to be pretty proud of the boys last week. Ineos.
Yeah.
Took it to the Kiwis. Monumental task from day one.
It's kind of a funny one, isn't it? Because, I think they're probably still licking their wounds a little bit, and I kind of feel that way too. And if only, there's still that sort of if only sitting there, like if they could only have gone that one step further. And once again, beaten by the Kiwis. I mean, hasn't that just been all of us, our whole careers? Like those guys, they've always been good. Like every cup, everything they do. When they had a TP52, Raci and you and I raced against them. They were, the champs in that. But yes, when you take a step back and you look at it, and obviously before they went into the final, it was the first successful British campaign that we've had in a long time. So yeah, I'm really proud of them, and it was really good to see some old mates doing well. Then Freddie and Charles and Corn Dog and those guys. It was a good effort.
Who's got the most obscure nickname in that squad? So you just had Corn Dog, we got Catflap. Like, how far wider than that does it go?
Good question. Yeah. Is there any? I mean, there's Shrek. There's Lamb Latch. Those two are called Truck and Trailer because they just spend all their time together. There's always a few. I mean, Freddie's name's not Freddie. His name's David. It's just one of those things. I mean, you Aussies do it as much as we do. You stick a nickname to everyone, don't you? Or put an O on the end or an I. Or
Well, it depends where you're from. If you're from the East Coast, you put an O on it. You're from the middle, you put a Y on it. Not sure what the West Coast do, but exactly.
So you got the Y on the end because you're East Coast.
That's right. Well, it depends when I go to Sydney, it's Spicy. When I'm home, it's Spicy.
Okay.
There, so.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, no. I thought it was something else when you're home. Anyway, it was a great cup. I think if you go back, everyone had the Poms written off pretty quickly, and it just showed.
Me too.
Yep, it just showed how good a team that team is. That the amount of work they did and the way they worked together. I was really impressed with the way the coaching staff and the team must have worked, and the analysis they'd done, and the way they applied changes. The whole team, I think, did a brilliant job. There's nothing they can complain about. I think it was just, I've said it 2 or 3 times now, it came down to design choice in the end. And so hopefully everything's sorted for the next cup.
Well, it sounds like it. Yeah, all the noise coming out, and obviously becoming challenger of records really helps with that next step. And they must have had some backing, or certainly some indication of backing from the Ineos guys again to think about stepping straight back into it as challenger of record. And it sounds like the Kiwis want to do a pretty fast turnaround into the next event.
Yeah,
so, I think that's important. I think it's important to keep the momentum going.
So it is, and it's always the hardest thing with a cup because the whole restart and where's it going to be, when's it going to be. I mean, one of the benefits of the Kiwis winning again is that we kind of know exactly what's going on, and it's just where and when. But yeah, I mean, they did a brilliant job. They'll still be able to look at. I think everyone can look at sort of parts of the campaign, and they'll be able to see areas where I mean, I think the hard thing was going into this one, as you sort of alluded to there, Jordan. They were sort of up against the wall, which is the third time in the row. The same thing happened with the team in Bermuda. The same thing happened in New Zealand. With like it was even worse there, where at the Christmas event in New Zealand. I mean, we were so far behind. It was like, oh my God, we'll be lucky if we can win a race. And the team rallied, and they've got that ability. But I think ideally you go into the next one and you're competitive from the get-go, and then the energy that you then expend takes you forward still. But they must have been pretty exhausted going into that final.
Yeah, I mean, there was a comment from Dylan. Yeah, Dylan made a comment saying that he was, the team was just pushing so hard to get there, and then once you're there, it's like, oh, now we've got to go again. Now we've got to push harder.
Yeah.
And that is the challenges issue, isn't it, in general, across the board?
That's the game. I mean, it was interesting hearing from the Kiwis from their perspective. They didn't like that period as well, because they were sat on the sidelines sailing on their own as soon as the round robin finished, and they were then very nervous of not being involved. So that's such an interesting part of the Cup now that there isn't a Defender Series like there used to be back in the day. And going into the final, there was all the chat of like, who's the favourite, and you never know. You just never know. Does it favour the team that's had a bit of time off, or does it favour the team that's now battle hardened, as the Brits were? But ultimately, the Kiwis had the faster boat, and the faster boat always wins. And all the development that the Brits were able to do, which was really, really good. It wasn't quite enough.
Catflap, what I worked out watching the Cup and watching all the Cups beforehand and looking at how the defenders go, the Aussies have been the worst Cup team of all time, because though we took it off the Yanks, we never won the bloody thing while we owned it, and it seems to be it's really hard to get it out of the defenders' hands. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And the Aussies, we stuffed it completely. So I think we're the worst Cup team of all time. And the only way we can fix that is by putting in a new Cup team and disproving my theory. So I just want to throw that out there.
Putting out the challenge.
If it makes you feel better, actually, if you look at the timeline of the Cup, I mean, it is really, obviously, to being the defender, you get to stack the deck in your favour, and it helps. But it has changed hands more times since you guys won it than it didn't change hands at all for 132 years before then. But then since you guys won it, it has changed hands. Like, teams have hung on to it for a couple of cycles, and then it's gone. So this is the first time someone's won it and then defended it twice, I believe. Would that be right? I think so.
Yeah, it definitely. But I'm just trying to challenge. I was trying to reverse psychology challenge out to the Aussie market there.
Well, I mean, it'd be so good to see an Aussie team back in there, and especially with the talent you guys have got. I mean, you can pick a couple of helmsmen straight off the bat that would be world class, and some really good sailors sitting behind them. It would be something that everyone would love to see, and it'd be good for the good of the Cup. It would be brilliant. I think, if the Brits had won, it would have been great for the good of the Cup too, just to kind of breathe some new life into it. But it seems like it's in a healthy place. It's such a strange entity, the Cup. It has its own life and this rich history that we all love, but it plows its own furrow, and
it's all absorbing.
It's quite an unruly beast, isn't it? It's sort of out of control, really, but it just keeps on going. And isn't that great?
Love it.
There's no.
I was looking forward to sitting on the shores of South Sea to be seeing the Cup.
I know. I don't know how popular that would have been. Yeah. I mean, of course, we all sat there going, "Where would it be?" And maybe it would have been Portsmouth, and that's not quite as glamorous as Barcelona and Bermuda.
We worked it out. We came up with an idea. Just
okay.
The course is a lap of the Isle of Wight. Simple.
Yeah, well, yes. You
Old days. History.
One lap. Yeah, off you go, guys.
That's it.
We could do it every day.
Enough to be
bank as well, and
I was lucky enough to be in the UK last week and sit around with the guys and watching the actual event. So that was good fun. The mood that it created. I mean, albeit even when it ultimately came to the end, the mood that it created was exciting. And I think that there's another exciting, couple of years coming up. I think that it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I hope so. It seems to be turning a few heads. It took a while to get there with the team, and it was only, obviously, I suppose it went into, like I said, the third one where it was a bit disappointing to start with. But once they started to do well, it was hitting the papers here, and it was funny. I remember sort of the first few times I'd walk past pubs in like Southampton or somewhere, and I'd see it on in the pub, and okay, this is not a sailing pub, but it's great that people are into it. So.
We even managed to move the blackboard in the old White Hart and get the TV out.
Good, yeah, very good.
That's cool.
But if they ever did win it, it would be huge, and people would get behind it as they do with all, like you Aussies, but get behind sport here, and I think it'd be an amazing thing. Same if the Italians ever won it. Could you imagine America?
I know. Could you imagine that?
It'd be fantastic. They'd be so good with it. I don't know if Prada will go again. That's an interesting one. I mean, God, what was that? Their 7th, 8th crack at it. They keep knocking on the door, but always the bridesmaid with those guys. And I hope they go again.
I think they get a lot of sales of product out of it, so I really don't think they care too much.
Yeah.
Let's step past the cup for a sec. We do have to talk about you. I just want to throw. Are you the only sailing pro that's come out of Sea Scouts?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'd have to have a little think about that. But
have to check the honour board.
Side, yeah. I don't know.
Just say yes.
Yes, definitely. When I was in the Sea Scout here in Lymington, and my son goes there now, Knights Lymington Sea Scouts, a brilliant scout troop. There was some good sailors that didn't go, carry on to the pro level, but there were some really good cadet sailors, and went on to 420s and 470s and stuff. And I mean, we had some really good guys from Lymington. That's my little thing, and still do have. Nick Rogers, double silver medalist.
Right.
There's some really good talented sailors that were in my sort of age group. He was a bit younger, but he wasn't the Sea Scout, so yeah, maybe. That's good research that I was part of the Sea Scout.
Oh, mate, I can.
He goes all right, our Jay.
Yeah.
Trying to fit that in around all the work I'm doing on the 1 meters was intense. So into the Sea Scouts.
The actual thing that happened, Flap, is he was on the shoreline with all the 1 meter twiddlers.
The twiddlers.
Anyone know Catflap?
Yeah, he was in the Sea Scouts.
So I went to Sea Scouts with him.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. No, the old you Pommy boys, they love sharing the story. So yeah, it was pretty easy. But that was I'm trying to remember with all the research you started sailing at 5, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, right around then. I mean, the first time I stepped in the boat was about then. My grandfather had a boat. He was a sailor. He lived up in the sort of Cambridgeshire way and had a little sailing boat. And I stepped on there and I did a little bit with him. He was a Navy guy. But it was really just growing up in Lymington. And I think I've really started to get into it. I mean, Sea Scouts was definitely where I learned how to sail, where I was in a boat and, okay, here's the wind, and just doing the basics of this is how you sail. And we do a little racing. And I think through that, one of my good buddies here in town, Chester, it was his mum who came up with the name of Catflap. I don't think we've got time for that story, but he said, hey, you
I think we have.
Yeah, no, we've got time. Is that how you got into the house?
Probably tell it, yeah. And I've lost my train of thought now. But no, he said, come and sail with me on my cadet. And he knew I did a bit of sailing, and I got into that. But my parents weren't sailors. They came from up Cambridgeshire way too, and came down to Lymington. My dad had a job here and knew nothing about sailing. So it was very much just growing up here that it was around. And then when I was sort of 14, I think it was, we did a a work placement with school, and they basically just sent us 14-year-old kids off to do 2 weeks of slave labor for local businesses. I think it's sort of how it worked, but it was, a good opportunity for us to do some actual work. And I went and worked for a boatyard just down the road here, West Custom Marine, which was brilliant fun, building boats. And they had a boat. They used to go Thursday night racing. That's our sort of local Sydney. You have your Wednesday night racing, whatever. Ours is Thursday night racing in the summer, which is our beer can racing. And they took me out on that, and I loved it. And at that time too, I was very aware of the rock star sailors that come over for the Admiral's Cup. They'd be here in
Leamington. Leamington's was the epicenter then. That was a huge place.
It kind of was a little bit, yeah. There'd be a regatta, a pre-Admiral's Cup regatta here every year, or every 2 years, when the Admiral's Cup would happen. And you'd see these guys and walking around town with their matching kit and suntans, and there was Italians and Americans and Australians and Kiwis, and you're like, wow, these guys are cool. So I was very aware of it. And as I got into the yacht racing, which I loved that sort of cruise side of things. And of course, being the youngest kid, like, right, you go and do the bow. So that suited me too. And that was the sort of first rungs of the ladder, really, to I guess experiencing it, and then also being aware of the fact that there was a world of professional sailing, which seemed like a pretty cool thing to do, at least for a little while in life, and to sort of see where it might take me. So
a little while, and here we are. Today.
Still on the bow.
Yeah, still on the bow. I know, isn't that nuts? Do you know the funny thing about that though is, and I've thought about sort of changing a little bit or heading back a little bit, but the two times when I wasn't on the bow. So I guess one was COVID, where I didn't sail like the rest of you guys. Just there was no racing for a year. But previously too, doing the 2017 America's Cup and sailing we did the AC50s there, but sailing those cats, and it was just cat sailing and foiling and not doing the foredeck for that sort of 3 or 4 years. When I came back from it after that, I was like, God, I really miss doing this job, this sort of 20-year skill set that I've built up. And I want to get back into that and have another crack at, sort of doing that well. And then the other COVID year of not sailing at all, it was so refreshing to come back. And both times I sort of came back, really looking forward to it and going, right, let's try and be the best at doing this job again. And got a few more years left in me. Yeah. There's times it's changed. There's times now when, you're sailing, say you're sailing at night and something goes wrong up the rig and you're wearing the harness and you're like, oh,
here we go.
Someone else wearing the harness right now.
Where's the young kids around here?
You're like, get me up there, I'll do that. But no, like, all right, here we go.
I do have to ask, mate, just with the work experience thing, did you get to actually say I want to go to a boatyard, or do they just randomly assign you that boatyard?
No, there was a list of stuff that you could do. Do you know what? Honestly, the first thing I looked at, there was a nursery here where you go and pot plants. I think it's called Lee's Nursery. And I signed up to do that. And you get to check it out first. You get to do a little site visit. And I went down there and I thought, my thought was like, it would be kind of a fun thing to do at summertime. So I could just sit outside and put plants in pots. So it could change my whole life right there. But I went down there and I was like, no, this is not what I was hoping it would be. And then this other one that was still sitting there was going to the boatyard. And I was like, well, I'm into boats. And I went and checked it out. And the guys that ran it were really cool. There was a South African guy called John West and another local guy called Richard Lovett. And they were, both very good sailors and had done a lot and sort of at pro level themselves. And that was great. Or as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. This will be fun. And yeah, it sort of opened some doors straight away to the yachting world. So it's good.
I'm just trying to work out if Catflap would be a better nickname for a horticulturalist or a pro sailor. So I'm just
if I was a horticulturalist, it probably wouldn't have. I'd still be Matthew.
I love it.
All good. Well, we're glad you did. We're glad you chose that, mate. I've got to say. So we've got. A lot of stories.
Thank you. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
The other
it's
thing,
been great. And it's been a brilliant career.
The other thing that is interesting is that obviously it did spark you in a certain direction, but that you're part of that illustrious alumni from Southampton, the university there. It's amazing how many world-leading yachties that place puts out. It must be a pretty cool yacht.
Quite a few sort of came through. Yeah, there's the Southampton University and the Solent University in Southampton, and a lot of guys, and both have really good yacht design centres and facilities. So some world-class yacht designers have been through there too, but some good sailors too. Yeah, that's true.
It's how we find, decide who we're going to talk to. We'll say, who's graduated from that?
Go down the honour board of Southampton University.
Yeah,
we've had a few on.
Yeah, good. Yeah. It was a funny thing going to university. I don't know how many of you guys went. It was brilliant fun. I loved it, but in hindsight, I didn't need to for what I do. I suppose there was always the idea that I should probably have another kind of feather in my cap just in case.
So you didn't do Bowman 1, Bowman 2, and Bowman 3 course?
No. So the name of the course was Yacht Manufacturing Management. So it was very much in the business. And, I was still set on the idea of being in the marine industry. Talking of sort of work placements, they were very good. So they every summer we used to finish a few months earlier than everyone else at the university. And to go off and do work placements, they were very keen on that too, for all of us to go out and work in the industry. And of course, you'd have to write a bit of a dissertation on it at the end of it all. And I think I was the only one on my course that year or in the course at the time. And they were okay with me just going off and racing. They were like, okay, so it's a little bit marginal. It's not quite what the course is about, but you're meeting the right people. And I was able to sort of head off to America or whatever for the summer. And they were like, okay, that's all right. But, you're on the knuckle here with this.
Wow.
Do you think though, Catflap, that the course helped you not only meeting people, but the course itself? It gives you a bit of an outlook on boats. You look at a boat and you go, yeah, that's cool, and it gives you a bit more of an understanding what's going on.
Sure. Yeah. I think as you guys know, it's not. Yeah, for the as far as just going racing, if I'd gone racing at 18 and carried on, I probably would have been in the same place, or as maybe been better. But it certainly helps with everything else, and you're sort of understanding the industry and just learning a bit about management and stuff. And I have been involved in boat building projects, not as much as like yourself there, Brett, but I was involved in a build in the States, a boat called Zarafa, which we built at New England.
It was a Rykel Pew, wasn't it?
It was a Raci 66. Yeah, that's
right. I actually delivered that boat from Sydney to Gold Coast to put it on a ship.
Did you? Okay.
Yes,
cool.
I did.
Yeah.
Nice boat.
Yeah, so we built that in Cruiser Racer when the Cruiser Racer rule was, it was stripped out. It was never going to cruise, but which we did. We did a bunch of racing. We did the Sydney-Hobart Race, the Fastnet, the Bermuda Race, the Jamaica Race. We did some good stuff for that boat. So that was a fascinating experience to go through that whole process of sitting down and like, right, we're going to design, build, and then race this boat. So that was really fun. And yes, for sure, my course helped with that when all the build stuff was going on. And I found myself in the white suit every now and then, and with a grinder and covered in carbon dust. And we've all been there. You've got to do your time in the white suit at some point. That carbon itch, there's no feeling quite like it.
Does that course still exist, Catflap?
I think so. I think I don't know if it still has the same name, but it's still there. Yeah.
So when you turn up, you reckon, here's your white suit. This is what you have to expect at some point in time.
Yeah.
Here's a cup of carbon dust. Pull this over you. Rub it in. See if you like
rub it in.
I mean, we
put it around your eyes.
Did some glass work when I was there. I don't think it was quite as rough as some of the stuff you end up doing, but it was. We definitely. It was more chop strand mat. I seem to remember. The course didn't have that much money to be doing pre-preg and fancy carbon work, high modulus carbon. It was a lot more choppy.
You could go back, mate. You could in a later part of your career, you could go back as a lecturer and you could be Professor Catflap, and you could.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, fall back on that.
Professor
Catflap.
Catflap.
Those guys get paid.
It sounds like something from the Harry Potter world, doesn't it, Professor Catflap?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It'll be in a book now. Somebody will hear it and it'll be in a book. But, that could be the pathway.
Right.
You could be the carbon expert. Dear.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like when you're at your age, we're talking, going down to Sea Scouts, doing your work experience and doing this degree. You're not thinking, I don't know, were you thinking about a whole future or you just on the ride?
Yeah, a bit of both, really. I mean, I was enjoying it, and I was enjoying what the industry could offer, and the travel, and the idea of getting away and all that. I always had that in mind. But I did want to race. It was all, what can I do to go racing? And I'm sure you guys did a bit of this too. There's guys that do the Olympic route and who are fantastic sailors, and they can go straight from sailing dinghies to earning money to race on yachts, and it's fantastic that you can do that. But for me, and I think a lot of us probably sat here, it was just taking little steps and just trying to do something that could make money, and at the same time go racing as much as I possibly could. And whether that was delivering boats or standing the bottom of a boat or working on the rig or a bit of boat building or whatever it was that just paid the way, but then got me to go to Key West or Newport, Rhode Island, or down to Sydney and do some fun racing and just slowly get there to a point where you can go, I get paid a little bit to go racing today, and then eventually one day you're doing that.
One of our big things, Catflap, is we do rave on about getting in there, getting in and under, and sweeping the floor, and being a good bloke, and just get it done. And I think, one of the biggest sort of things we try and say here to the younger folk, if you like, is that you've got to work hard. You just got to go out of your way and do it. Yeah,
you are absolutely right, Brett. It's just about getting your head down. Yeah, being low maintenance, working hard, and guys will say, "Oh, he's a good kid, that kid," and we all do it. We always say, "Oh, yeah, we all sort of know who the good kids are coming through," and you get that little reputation. And someone says, "Oh, you should, maybe get this guy come and, do this for you, whatever." And that's all you need. It's just that. But yes, you just got to keep going with it and dedicate 100%. Yourself to it. You got to be dedicated.
It's something that occurred to me last night, actually. This exact point that you're discussing, mate, is that our community, the sailing community, we're pretty decent human beings, because you're exactly right. If you get that situation where you see a young kid doing the right thing, we all will push them forward. Like I can't think of a situation where...
Push them.
I said them. Did I say? It sounded like him, though, I guess. Aussie accent. Blame it on the Aussie accent. Yeah, we will push them forward, that person forward. And, it seems to be consistent right across our community,
100%.
It is pretty bloody cool, and I don't think the youngsters realise that, they're all so touched when you do it, but it's just what happens in the yachting world.
It is, yeah. And it's so funny, isn't it? It's so different compared to other sports. It's not about, numbers and statistics and, as far as the racing goes, it's very much every job you get is through someone, and, it is all about just the little network and group of friends that we all have. It's a small world, really.
As our mate Vicey says, just don't be a dickhead.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and I mean, God, even when you go up to America's Cup level, I've been sat there with the sort of first group of America's Cup team. You're talking about who you're going to employ, and one of the first rules is the no dickhead rule. Let's just avoid that. And that's a great example of how young guys can get, if you can just get your foot in the door of one of those, and if you're the right character, you'll go far, because people will go, this kid's good.
I've just had an idea, boys.
There you go. What's up?
A t-shirt.
Here we go, Catflap.
The no dickhead rule t-shirt.
No, I'm taking it further than that. I'm taking it further than that.
Every episode this happens.
It's
so
the 20. It's 2024. The latest round of the rules is about to be updated. We're about to publish the new
World
set of
sailing.
Yeah, rule 1 of sailing. Yeah. No dickheads.
No dickheads.
So every rule is bumped back just to have that at number 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
So rule 69 becomes rule 70.
So world sailing. Well, David Tillett, he'll be listening. Just push forward. That would be hilarious in the blue book, wouldn't it?
That's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah.
No
dickhead rule.
And it just becomes formally part of sailing. I mean, that's just
it already is, isn't it? But
which I guess means that all of us that are still there aren't dickheads. Is that how it correlates? Kind of. Right?
The three of us.
I was just going to say, I don't think it actually. It sometimes it fails. No, there's a couple of us sneak through.
You know what though? If you sort of looked at it and all the people in the business, and we've all sailed with people that are quite hard work, and they tend to be the tacticians, I think, and some of the guys, at the top. The guys that aren't dickheads, they're bloody good. That's how you do it, isn't it? You can probably sort of think of. I'm sure we can all think of 2 or 3 names that people that they're a hard guy to sail with, but they got enough talent that they've managed to get through.
I have to say, at this 1 meter worlds, there's a certain gentleman who has designed and made his own boat, and he's just here having a ton of fun. I don't think he's too serious, but he's having a ton of fun. His name's Gordon Maguire. And
gorgeous Gordon.
Yeah, gorgeous Gordon, and we're just having an absolute ball. He keeps coming over and whispering in my ear, and he's cracking jokes, and he's a good man. It's he's speaking of no dickheads. You know what I mean? Like he's
he's a good guy. Yeah,
what a guy.
And he's one of those round the world sailors too. And I think that's not something I've done, but man, that's definitely a forum, teams where you can't. I mean, if you got to sail around the world with someone, if you're on a watch with someone for a whole, the best part of a year, right? You got to avoid dickheads there, haven't you?
Oh, 100%.
Well, you run out of jokes pretty quickly. Sometimes you got to change watches so you can tell the same joke to someone else.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you've done your time.
And you just got to hope people have got short memories so you can just keep telling them.
Yeah.
Well, that was a funny one, Bossy.
It skins at the guy. Same joke, but okay.
Oh, did you catch one on the coverage yesterday that Coop put in?
Go on.
He's talking about, he's gone, Jordan's our favourite ginger, he's a great ginger, blah, blah, blah. Do you know, you know what happens when you call a ginger on a Saturday night?
No, go on.
He's gone, the ginger answers and says wrong number. Because no one wants to talk to a ginger on a Saturday night. It's a bit harsh.
Got to wait till Sunday morning.
No girls ringing up a ginger. Right. Let's talk about some of the fun stuff you've done, mate. What's the highlights for you?
Nice question.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, the cup stuff,
Arriva, 2007, Valencia.
Yeah. Brett and I at Arriva. It was a good time, wasn't it? And that was a great cup. I mean, Valencia was brilliant. That was certainly I think a highlight in everyone's sort of cup time. Yes, what do we have? 12 teams down there. Yeah. There were so many sailors too. Every team employed about 35 sailors, and there was, that back then there was probably 10 guys in the design room and 30 to 40 sailors in every team. It was the opposite of how it is now. And then all the guys. It sort of sounds like the good old days a little bit. I'm not saying that, but that was a good time. And whilst we were off doing that, there was a bunch of other guys there was like 20 odd boats doing the Med Cup, the 52. So there was a lot of things around.
That's when it was
Race had a bunch of boats, and that was a good time. But the 52s, actually, talking of those, that's been brilliant. And I think I was talking to someone about this just the other day, like how lucky we've been that in our lifetime those boats, that class has been here. It was something special. I remember when I was growing up, and that was the sort of hiatus of the Admiral's Cup, which was a brilliant thing, and you had the 50-footers. who would then race. They'd go and do their own events in the Med, and they'd go and do the Southern Cross Cup down there. They'd go and do the Kenwood Cup and the Sardinia Cup, and they were having a great time. But we've had that. We've had that with the Super Series. It's been a bit more sort of Mediterranean centric, and actually this year was great getting over to Newport, Rhode Island. That was really fun. Yeah, but what a great class. And those boats are also racing down in Sydney. They've got a bunch, right? You've got certainly got some of the Great Lakes. There's some on the east coast of the States. They're all over the place, and just fantastic boats. A great size of boat. You throw them around and you drop in the kite at the bottom.
Going on in the UK as well, Catflap. There's a little bit of a push to get the older boats going.
Yeah, and obviously the Admiral's Cup coming back next year has sparked more interest too. So that'll bring some more over here and build a little fleet probably. So yeah, that's been fantastic. And I suppose sort of career highlights and things I'm most proud of. The first day I ever sailed on a British boat in the America's Cup in 2003. That was a proud day, and that will stick with me forever. And we were racing Stars and Stripes. We actually lost the race. It was a close race, but I'm looking over on their boat, and there's like Jerry Kirby and Bruce Lintock and Tom Whidden and these famous guys over in this other boat. Mike Topo was over there. I mean, that was a wonderful experience. And then Match Racing Worlds that was a good time, and that was a really nice period actually. And basically, when we were doing the Team Origin thing, which never happened, which was such a shame. I really enjoyed that little period where I was on part of the match racing team with Ben Perse, so Ben Ainsey, Ian Percy, Christian Count was with us, and we'd go off and do the match racing. Then we were sailing on the 52 with you and a few other good men. And then we were going and doing the World Series events, or whatever they were called, the Louis Vuitton Series events in the cup boats. That was a good time. That was a really good time.
So, gents, just on that, the match racing team had to employ one person specifically just to carry all the gold medals around. So.
It was
not a bad team, was it?
Yeah, I could have carried them for them. I always used to joke, like the guys ever sort of took off early or couldn't come to a press conference or whatever, and I sort of got shoved forward. I'd always joke that, oh, sorry, the lads, it's medal polishing day today, so they can't be here.
They got to go. They couldn't be here.
Yeah.
That's a euphemism, isn't it? It's time to polish my medal.
Yeah.
Mate, as part of all of that, Flap, would have been some fascinating locations also. I mean, Bermuda, Auckland, all over the joint. Anywhere stick out, or it's kind of one of those ones where they're all pretty cool, aren't they?
Yeah, we're so lucky. Do you know, there's a slightly funny thing with all of us that we get a little bit blasé about some of the places we go to every year. And one obvious one is Sardinia. I mean, how wonderful is it sailing around the islands of Sardinia? But actually, we sort of do it every year, and it's sort of, you're just there and you're working and doing a normal thing. But sailing in Sydney Harbour is something special. Maybe you guys get a bit bored of that, but that's a wonderful one. The Hobart experience, that's a fascinating one, because Sydney, wonderful. What a send-off. Boxing Day, there's nothing like it. There's no race in the world that has that start that you have there, out through the heads. Then the rest of it, the proper kick in the balls. Man, that's a tough race.
Well, we do say there's two good parts to the race.
Hobart.
Yeah.
And
so
then
there's two good parts of the race, the start and the finish.
Yeah, you just got to get through that bit in the middle. I've done, it's a long time since I've done one, but I did 4 and got a proper kicking in 3 of them. My first one was 98. My first one was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
What were you on in 98? What were you on in 98?
I was on a boat called Air. It's a Swan 46, which was a good boat to be on because it was solid. Yeah. And the boat was holding up. We were getting knocked down when we were broaching out on waves, and I mean, it was a nightmare. But the boat was good. The owner was good. we had some really good sailors with us actually. Jez Vanstone was kind of running the show. Jez. It was good having him there, and some really good some good guys on there, some Aussies as well. We got through it. But yeah, it's a tough race, and sort of ruins your Christmas as well. yeah. But they haven't had a bad one for a while, have they? I sort of keep thinking I should come and do it again. But I'm like, it's been a while.
It's like tempting fate, isn't it?
Yeah,
every year goes by, and you go, you know what? They're having such a good run. I'm going to do next year's. You know what happens.
Yeah. Well, I think Bicey's ride dropped out again this year. He keeps getting the dropout, so that means it's going to be a good year. So I'd come down. It's not going to be not going to be a bad year till Bicey has to go again. I just a quite quick aside. Just suddenly had a thought. Between our 4 mines, or your 3 mines, Admiral's Cup, I'm kind of pumped to see the Admiral's Cup come back because we all grew up with it and it was great. If we were selecting the boats, you know, how they have the different boats, what boats would you put in for the Cup, right? So what class of boats would you put in? I'd be interested to see.
Good question. Good question. I mean, I think the 52 or a boat of that size, that's naturally there, isn't there? There's so many of them. And, and a good size. And then I suppose that has to be your biggest, really. I mean, you could look at a mini Maxi, but then you're sort of talking about a different event, aren't you? And then it gets difficult. For me, I'd love to see 3 boats again.
Yep.
Just because that's how it always was. And I sort of love the fact that, you know, one team was struggling or, you know, one day, and then they might have the other teams were sort of getting them through and
carry them.
It sort of added a few more dimensions. I think with just the 2 teams, you sort of need one to at least be average and the other one has to be winning, or, you know, both have to be good.
Can I pitch mine?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Can I pitch mine?
Yeah, go for it.
You can't do an international 1 meter, Jordan. They don't, don't fit the rating band.
Okay. Here we go. Small boat.
Still 1 meter.
Cape 31.
Too small. Can't do it.
So I'm just throwing.
That's the only thing. But yes,
I'm trying.
Definitely a good obvious choice for a great small boat.
Yep.
That's taken over the world.
Yep. So you got a 30-footer, a 40-footer, and a 52. So TP
for a new format.
Yeah, new format. I'm throwing our format at. You can't tell me I can't do things, Bice, because that's just not going to work. But
fair enough.
So we've got a 30-footer, so Cape 31s. We got a 52, the 50-footer, which is the TPs, perfect, and then the 40-footer, the AC40.
Wow, yeah. But then the offshore bit, you got to go offshore.
Yeah, there's a the Isle of Wight, that's considered offshore. At least 2 of those boats.
Yeah, I know. But, you know, the Fastnet will be fun in an AC40, trust me.
It could be quick enough.
Not for me.
No, I'm just throwing ideas of what sort of boats you'd like to see out there racing, you know, like it'd be really spectator friendly is what I'd say.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Obviously, those boats aren't designed to go offshore. I was going to say, actually, do you guys watch any of the youth and the Women's America's Cup stuff?
Yeah,
the whole thing.
Good, isn't it? Yeah, but the boats are loose. I mean, it didn't take much for them to be. They had to send them to get them around the course. Look. It
was a bit of a cool reminder after watching the 75s, and I wouldn't say they're quite docile around the course, but they are when you see the 40s back on the track.
Yeah, they're a lot more locked in, aren't
There's
they?
some proper stuff going on here.
Liken it to the 13-foot skiffs to the 18-foot skiffs. You know, the 18s sort of manage themselves quite well in Sydney, but then the 13s are just always launched and out of control.
Yeah. It's a young man's game, that's for sure. A young lady's game. It's it looks fun, but I'm not that fast. I wouldn't mind a day in one, but I wouldn't mind a whole season on one. No, thanks. You're all good. But cool boats. So what an opportunity for those guys and girls to get to race on those cool bits of kit. I mean, wow. I popped down there and I did watch a bit of the youth stuff, courtesy of the Artemis guys who I've done a bit of sailing with, and the Swedes, and got to go in the camp and talk to everyone. And yeah, it's cool. Great boats.
Yeah.
Interesting to see where they go from now.
Yep. Hopefully it continues to go because it was great fun and the AC40s look pretty bloody good. I just had a thought, mate, with your horticultural career, if you'd gone down that path, what sport would you have done?
I still would have sailed. I mean, that was definitely, there was still that. I think whatever would have happened with that work experience, I was already into the sailing. There would have been another path, and I always wanted to travel. When I was a young kid, we actually moved to the States for 2 years. When I was about 6 to when I was about 8, and lived near Chicago, so nothing to do with sailing. Through my dad's business, and that gave me a taste of wanting to travel and spend time in the States as well, actually, which I have done. So that was on the horizon, and I sort of went through the effort of looking into joining the Royal Navy, and what that would entail, and could that be a way to sort of get around the world, but have a cool job, and so that was I think sailing would have come and bit me at some point. Whatever.
Well, good choice, given you walk away 2024 with the World Championship as well. With the
I know.
Radiator.
How about that? Yeah, I know. That was, I think that surprised quite a few people. And I would say we are as surprised as anyone from where we were 2 years ago, where we spent multiple years basically propping up the ladder and coming last.
It's kind of why you're here with us, Catflap, because when that victory was done, I reached out to you to get you to talk about it a bit. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's
solid
it.
Team, solid bunch of
once you win a
people.
World Championship, people know you again. It's good. Yeah, really good team. I mean, there was the biggest change that we did was we went from the owner, Tony Langley. He went from driving the boat, helming the boat, to doing tactics.
Right.
Which takes a lot of balls to say, yes, I'm going to do the tactics in this fleet with some of the, a few of the world's best tacticians in that fleet. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say having Hoskins on board.
And we got Hoskins, who helped him out with the tactics. But Chris O is there, yeah. He's very much part of the team. We got some colourful characters. We got a couple of these, actually.
Yeah, Joey's in there. Second most listened to Bar Guardian.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. I love saying with Jerry. He's such a good guy to sail with. And Chris A too, actually, are both brilliant. But we do have some really good sailors, and that was actually always the glue that kept everything together through the sort of darker days and the tougher times when we weren't doing so well. Was we always had some good guys, and we always sort of.
So can I ask who was steering, Catflap?
So we have Guille Parada, who is Argentinian. He was the helmsman, amongst other things. He was the helmsman for Azura for many years, and was driving the boat when they won multiple Super Series and World Championships too. So that was a big step up, and it was an interesting one. It was something we'd experimented on a little bit before. I think a couple of years before, when we had Paul Goodison was doing tactics for us, and we did one event where he drove and Tony tried tactics, but for whatever reason it didn't quite sort of work out. But this time when we locked it in straight off the bat, it was good. We would get you get good starts. Yeah. It certainly suits certain events compared to others.
Are we going to see the Union Jack on the start line for Admiral's Cup Gladiator?
It'll be there. Yeah, it'll be there. I mean, Rourke will have a team. I think they've already announced who is in that team. I think Black, that 44-footer, is going to be the big boat. I'm not sure about the small boat, but I imagine there'll be multiple.
Multiple teams, right?
Yeah, I would think.
But will Tony be putting in the team, the Gladiator?
No, he's not interested, and I don't think the offshore thing he really feels is his thing. And to be fair, this sort of resurgence of the team is really fired him up, and he's absolutely loving it. He'd be one of the happiest owners in sailing right now. He's so fired up, and he's just happy to focus on the Super Series and doing what he can there, really.
Nice one.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been really interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty good story, though, isn't it? You know, like as you said, you know, the complete change around, and now, you know, you guys are really, really good.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, interesting, the last event we did, which was in Valencia, bizarrely for that place, it blew offshore for the whole week and we struggled. We really struggled. It was such a tricky event, and just, you know, being on the lifted tack all the time. And we did, it didn't suit our style. We so many events, it paid just to hit an end of the start line, which we're, you know, quite good at winning an end, having a really good helmsman, and truck out to that side and win your group. And even if you'd pick the wrong side, you'd be mid-fleet. But if you've picked the right side, you'd go around the top mark in the first 2 or 3, 1, 2 or 3. And that suited us. So the last event, we struggled big time. So yeah, it's a fascinating one. I suppose the interesting thing is like, is anyone else going to try it? You know, or any other owners going to go, oh, that's working for them. Maybe I should try that. But I mean, it takes some moxie to actually say, no, man,
you're really throwing yourself out there. I mean, to own a boat. To own a boat, number one, to steer a boat, you sort of, you know, that's kind of accepted because that's the deal, right? You own the boat, you want to drive it. That's how the deal is. But to throw yourself into a tactician role, that's throwing yourself into the pit.
You really are, yeah. But fortunately, Tony's got some moxie, so that's not a problem. He's got some balls. So it works for us. Who knows? Maybe we'll see someone else try it. I think it's ruffled a few feathers in the class, actually, interestingly. And teams that would always beat us, we're now regularly beating. And I don't think they necessarily like that, you know. Now, styles,
especially if they're living in the professional world, they're going, "Hang on, hey, what?" And the owners looking around, going, "What's going on here, mate?"
Well, that's true. I mean, there's some teams that are full pro, and Quantum being one that won the series, and we're probably favourites. They put a few people on there, but I mean, we went into the last series ahead of them, which, you know, that's pretty good for us. But I mean, not, you know, they were probably asking a few questions of themselves. No disrespect to them, because I know they've made a bunch of changes, but yeah. If you have a pro helmsman and a pro tactician, you should be doing very well.
I do have to ask, mate, for the debrief after winning the Worlds, did you like come into the debrief and go, you know, it all starts with the bowman?
No, I definitely didn't.
That's not Catflap.
You know, I mean, this is an interesting conversation, isn't it? Where so many of these things, when the team is dialed and you're doing well. Particularly with the bow, you don't win races, but you can lose them.
Yes,
you can lose them. So there's a bit of that. You can help with some really good starts and things like that. And I think it's more about being involved in the whole process of being a very well drilled professional team. And actually, one of our strengths in that team is if you ever see interviews with anyone on the team, particularly Tony Langley, you'll hear him talk about the process, and we're very process driven. And actually, one of my jobs is to run the playbook, and we really do. We have a fairly comprehensive playbook that we do stick to, and that has been a strength of ours. So,
wow,
yeah, I guess that's something I bring to, other than just getting the sails up and down.
Maybe something you could introduce into the international 1 meter. The last couple of days, Jordan.
Well, yeah,
the playbook, mate.
It'd be a very different looking playbook, but yeah.
Oh, boys, well, you guys got to tune in.
It's how quick you move your thumb, you know, like the thumb. The pressure on the thumb creates a faster jibe, or you want to do a late main jibe, or you know.
Mate, the intensity of these little boats is hilarious, and we've got a little effects mic on the skipper's deck, so you can hear all the conversation.
I've heard it.
It's hilarious.
And I bet they do talk to themselves a lot too, don't they? To each other. But.
Oh, it gets full bore. It really gets full bore.
Yeah.
It's very, very funny. But anyway, we're kind of getting to the end of time, mate. We're pretty much out of time. But I don't know. Do we want to find out about the Catflap? Should we share with the world the Catflap name, or is it too long?
What
do you guys think? It's yeah. There's two sides to it, and there's one. There's one that actually the main bit is very innocent and actually not that long, so I can tell you that. But then there's a slightly naughtier bit that
we are interested in that.
There was the reason the name was created, and then there was the reason it was perpetuated, and the perpetuated bit was a little naughty. But the main bit's actually pretty clean. I was doing a paper round when I was 13 here in Lymington. And one day, my buddy Chester, who I mentioned earlier, he did my paper round for me. And one of the owners of the house came out and gave him a bollocking because the day before was a Sunday and there was a big Sunday Times massive supplement paper and it wouldn't fit through the letterbox. So I walked around the side of the house and I threw it in the Catflap, which is crazy when you think about it because that's, I still carry that name. But his dog had chewed it up and it was all over his house. So from then on, whenever I went round to his house, his mum would go, Sarah Maudsley, she'd go, here's Catflap. And that was it.
What an arrogant owner. Like, it's not your fault the dog bloody chewed the thing up. It's just.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, but hey.
But my poor buddy, Chester, he took the brunt for it. So,
So just give us a lonely yes or no. The perpetual part of it.
Yeah, I know what.
Was you were like about 19 years old and you got caught half in, half out of the Catflap trying to get out?
Along those lines.
Yeah.
I was somewhere I shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And try to extract myself.
Move on.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here. Move on.
I guess the nice way to sign off for us, mate, would be what's your other passions? I think obviously you're running the full kids program these days. You've got you got, what do you call it? You call it mouse flap? Have you got something like that going on or?
No, kitty flaps. No, nothing. Yeah, no. Hopefully they get better nicknames than that. Slightly less ridiculous one. I'll just say quickly, it is a crazy name to have because there's many people around the world who don't know me by my real name. And I'll call up these owners I sell for at their places of work and I'll say, hey, this is Matt Cornwell wanting to talk to Tony Langley, for example. And the secretary would be like, I don't know.
Tony's out for the day.
Say, yeah, it's Catflap. And Catflap, hello. How are you doing?
Tony comes back on busy. Oh no, it's Catflap.
Yeah.
I got to say, I only knew you as Catflap for I reckon about 3 years.
Oh.
But,
we should once we've got World Sailing to add Rule 1, no dickheads in. We should just pick someone on the sailing scene and give them the name dickhead, and just it would just be the curse of their life, wouldn't it? Can you imagine?
Yeah. There's a dick bum.
Another rule saying every sailor should have a nickname.
Yeah, dick bum. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, mate. I think we might have to call it. Thanks very much for spending time with us. I suspect we'll chat some more in the future once a few other exciting things happen. But
yeah.
Cheers, Flap. Good to see you again.
Cheers, gentlemen. Yeah.
Definitely be seeing you around at some point.
Yeah. We'll see you out there on the scene. Yeah. Cheers, bye. See. Yeah. Cheers, Brett. Cheers to all.
Good on you, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Okay, so we tapped on rule number 1, changing to no dickhead rule.
I think that was a good one.
Yeah, no, it was. But let me tell you, Catflap, I worked with him in, he was a sailor, of course, so I was on the shore in the 207 Cup. And one of those guys that, you meet guys that just always say good day and smile and have a good day. And he's just one of those guys. And I always remember him for that. So, he's a legend.
Yeah, he's definitely a no dickhead. It's so true. You can tell straight away.
Personifies the no dickhead rule.
Yeah, I love it.
You look up in a dictionary, picture of Catflap. No
picture of Catflap.
Now, hang on. I need to clarify. Is it going to be a picture of a Catflap or is it a picture of Catflap?
Oh, we'll get it, at least.
Or Matt Cornwall halfway in and out of a Catflap. No, it's a beauty.
Legend.
Yep, absolute legend, and a pleasure to work with too. He's always he's good to be around.
Yeah. Very cool. I'm working with on the commentary with Saskia Kloonenvoort, I challenge you blokes to pronounce that one correctly because I haven't got it.
I'll do better than you just did.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, I'll go first. Saskia.
We're talking about getting your Radix loaded up for the Sydney-Hobart, but she leaned over and said, doing the Melbourne Osaka, and I've gone, and she's gone, I think I'm going to need some of that Radix. And I said, I think you're probably right.
There you go.
Yeah. So if you are...
This is live on air, by the way.
Yeah, well, just in the gaps there, but I said to her, it's not like she's going, it's just the freeze-dried stuff and Radix. And I said, no, this is not just freeze-dried. It's like especially the structure of it is completely different. So, it gives you... You maintain muscle mass and, it gives you a sort of better delivery. It's the whole FOD map that they talk about. I don't understand it, but it's a lot more to it than just freeze-dried food. So I just said to that.
You're like a walking billboard. Do you cut like a packet in half, put your head through it, put your arms out?
Well, she saw me eating some.
Walk around with it. You could just imagine him on the start line tomorrow. Hey?
I was just, I'm busy, so I have to. I need the Radix for my feed to get through the day. So I was just
to support the mitochondria, right down to the mitochondria.
That's level. It. So she saw me eating some, and so it went from there. So I think, a significant order of Radix is coming in on that one. But nutrition.
Don't forget to use your code, Saskia.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Go to Radix Nutrition and use the discount code BARKARATE, that one word, and you will get a discount on us and enjoy it all. But yeah, it's good. It's good to have those conversations. It was like she was just asking about it, and it's an all-female crew, and she sort of asked about how it works, and I was able to sort of discuss it a little bit, and she's going, that does actually sound what we should be having, because they lose weight easily, they reckon. So yeah,
look, it's one of those things, isn't it, about education of it. That's the key to it. It's not just, it isn't freeze dried as such. It's all for performance.
All performance. Boys, let's just move on to events. Big week this week. It's non-stop now. It just keeps coming and coming. Actual nationals start 1st to 5th of November. They're going to be...
how on earth did it get to November?
I know.
For starters.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, mate.
Like you say, it's kind of the start of things just warming up in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Well, they've been warmed up for quite some time now, but this is one of the big ones.
Yeah. It's all just happening. So anyway, I just thought... And the other thing that is happening, I've noticed 18-foot skiff and 16-foot skiff sailing's back on because it's on, you can stream it. I don't want to plug them necessarily over anyone else, but the fact that, you can sit there and watch, if you've had a bad day at work or your boss is crapping on in a meeting, you can just flick it on.
Have it on a Zoom meeting?
Does your boss listen to this?
She probably does. I might be in trouble. We got a picture last night. Somebody sent a photo of their setup. Speaking of flicking on and watching a bit of streaming, whilst an event's on, whilst at work, somebody sent a photo of their setup, and they had streamed onto their office walls. So all 4 walls one is a whole wall of the 1 meters, right? The sailing. On the next wall is the live scoreboard, right? On the next, the whole 4 walls of this room were
in 360.
Yeah, in 360. You had a couch in there that could pivot. Had the IOM Worlds.
Everything. Couch.
Pivoted. Nah.
Nah. Pivot as one does.
That was insane.
And I said to self.
Oh, dear. Anyway.
Jackson's been hit by... No, stop that.
All good. Right, moving on. Jack Lloyd, listener of the week. We're back. Again, I think we just continued. We really... I've never followed up with Pat and the Vycobi team just to continue the sponsorship. So
it's just a given, mate.
Let's just say it's continuing. We're going to give away another couple of $100 voucher for the listener of the month. So, and Pat listens religiously to the show, so I'm certain he'll just honour that. On your Pat, we love you.
For him with his little kayaking is a big event, so he's happy. He's having a ball.
He's having a ball. He's got plenty on. He's doing well for a little fella. Him and AD, they're doing a great job. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to finish the 18 first race, but the Vicobie skiff looked like it was doing well. The 20 beaches happened on the weekend, so there was just
the 20 beaches?
20 on. All right, so where are we? What are we going to talk about? What events, listeners?
No,
anyone want to bring one up?
I think we'll just go through them. You've got a good list here.
I do have a good list. The Drew Green email. That's a winner, isn't it?
It's up there.
It's up
worth
there.
Discussing. Of course, our good mate Disney just continues to pile on the information.
Yeah, he does. He's loving it. He's a happy man. Let's go. Drew Green.
Beauty.
Dear idiots, I was wondering if there's any hustling for position on the dock of the 1 metre. Talking about the 1 metre worlds. Part of a good start is the start line hustle. I was wondering if in the 1 metres they have a favoured position to twiddle their thumbs at. Are there any rules covering bumping, elbowing, bantering, battering and the likes? If you guys do have Glenn Ashby on the show, it would be great to have a commentator's reel with all his best moments. Glenn's golden gobsmackers. Take care. Yeah.
Glenn's golden gobsmackers.
That's a good one.
When the Italians went around the top mark and spun out. Cazzo.
I'll punch you in the head if you...
Well, it is funny because we're doing this coverage, right? And because of their comment, Bicey's always made the comment about my fin thing at the World Sailing Games, and then after Ashby with the cup, day one of the Twiddlers, Saskia, our lovely female commentator who's fantastic, and she said her exact words were, "We're in for a week of vigorous thumbing."
Yeah, you and Weebix would have gone pretty well.
What did you say to that,
comment.
Well, I completely lost it. I was just giggling my little head off, and the other boys were giggling and she just had no idea what she'd said, and then she just saw us just rolling on the desk, laughing, and then it was just too. And then I think Turts had a call. Like they have this system because you got to qualify in, so there's 76 boats max, and then they split you into 5 fleets. And the way it works is one race is after all 5 fleets sail. So if you are in the E fleet, you could get 76 points if you come last, right? And if you win in the A fleet, you get 1 point, right? So the score is it's 1 through 76. It's one race, right? But if you're in E fleet and you get ranked, you get ranked, you get moved up and down. So if you finish in the top 6 of your fleet, you don't get a score, you move up, right? And then you race the next fleet. And the bottom 6 of the fleet drop down and they carry the score, right? And so you can go all the way.
Relegation.
Yeah, you move up and down, and it's only until you get you don't go up anymore that you get a score, right? If that makes sense, or you go back down, you get a score, and so you're forever moving up and down, and you don't want to end down in E fleet because you're getting massive scores. But if you're up in the A fleet, you're only getting small scores. So but it works. It works really well. It's actually, I've been thinking about it a lot. Like I did my head in when I first was watching it, but I think it actually leads to much more consistent scoring because
it puts everyone in their position naturally.
In their position, and if you're having a shocker, or if you're having a mid sort of standard fleet race, you're not going to. You get another couple of goes at it if you can just get into anyway. But you're always trying to be in the top 6 of your fleet, right? That's all that matters, right? And Turts has gone, and there's our 8 top 6 was one of his calls.
Oh. Mathematics 101.
And then he pointed, there was something else. He did something else. He said there's a guarantee that 10 will make up our top 10. And I said, it was something. Anyway, it was just, there's some good comments flying around, so it's good fun. Who else should we? Disney. He tried to spark up the conversation about boat names again. Was there anything of value from Disney this time, apart from his opening? Hello.
Always value.
Always of value.
Yeah.
Which points would you like to bring out?
Well, I'll bring out one. He mentioned the Crocs.
For a boat name.
Now, I'll just give you one. So after last week's episode, we recorded on the Sunday. Oh, good to have you back, by the way, BP.
Thanks, mate.
I went and visited the French base in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Stepped up to the back of the boat inside the tent, and everyone, there's a big sign, shoes off, Crocs on. So there's a whole bunch of Crocs, basically 20, 30 pairs for whoever steps on, and that's the shoe of choice.
Yeah, right.
Whilst on board.
Right.
Shoe of choice. There you go.
So,
yeah,
well, slowly chipping away at the world of yachting.
World of yachting, that's it.
Yeah.
And we're giving them a hand. One day we'll get a phone call from them saying, "Hey guys, you've done well. Thanks." That's it.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
that's what we'll say. Oh, do you guys want some money for all the work you're doing for us? No, we're good.
Yeah. No. We like to live on the edge.
Yeah.
Very good. No, listen, to keep the emails coming in because they are a laugh. We do have a laugh, don't we?
Yeah. No, it's really good. I'm just trying to find. I think Karen Robertson sent us the 5 stages of being a croc wearer. I forgot about that one. I was just trying to look it up. So I was hoping you guys would carry the show on your shoulders there.
I bet there two. I'm not sure exactly which stage, but at some point is denial, then acceptance.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And then banging on about it for the rest of your life.
That's exactly it.
Well, I've got three.
I've got
three stages.
I have never ever put a croc on, so I'm in denial, right?
Yeah. No, well, you guys are just naturally picking the 3 stages as you're going. So that's exactly it. Never going to wear them.
I should do it. I should do it and take a photo.
Yeah. I'm going to have to apologise to Karen here because I normally have all this stuff prepared, but I haven't. So anyway, it's the 5 stages. I'll have to dig it out another time, but it is, and it's exactly that. BP. I'm never going to wear these things, Oh, maybe, and then like it's just.
Geez, they're good.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of them.
I just can't believe.
I want to wear them out in public, but I wear them in the house.
When did we start the Crocs podcast? Like, when did it get to that? Like, it just does my head in.
It was just after the Bring Back the Rainbow podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the campaigns are going well.
Oh, far out.
I think it was a post you put up, Bice, that you put your croc on the Volvo up. That was, I think.
Well, it was when we had Johnny on, Care John, and we spoke about the Crocs. So that's when it all started.
Yeah.
If you check it out, cheers, barkarati.com. We've got the video rolling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of rainbows, where I'm staying, I walk in the door and they pull off the shelf and show me the state champion or whatever rainbow picture.
Weebix with Stardust. Yeah.
The other one, Dave Balestis was sending in some of the videos from the Middle Sea race, from those squalls, which was good. So we might roll on to our least favourite segment.
It's hot time with Bice.
Not our least favourite segment.
Oh, back on the home deck, just slid into the tracksuit pants, the leisure wear,
the travel suit,
the Barkarati leisure wear, travelling wear,
the travel suit.
Middle Sea race, as you mentioned, Jordan. It's been run and won. Quick shout out to the winners. Scallywag overall line honours.
Yeah,
ahead of Blackjack and Lucky. Yeah, so well done to Whitty and crew.
Yeah.
Fine effort. Good to see the Scallywag at the pointy end of the fleet. They've had their battles in the last few years, but she's back fully in one piece, back in its what you'd say natural habitat, which is offshore. Yes. So
100%.
Well done to those guys. But
what a race!
I do have to give a bit of a plug. Grant Rollerson, you boys know Grant.
Roller, yeah,
Roller.
Rollo, yeah.
I think
Grunter,
he's.
Yeah.
I think Rollo.
Rollo.
Grunter. He's been bringing in the bottom finished bit of anti-fouling called Velox, and as soon as they won, he's just put it's the first place to the Middle Sea race, the orange Velox plus on the keel. So he's just pointing it out. Yeah, I just thought I'd give him a free plug. There you go.
Yeah. But I think we mentioned it last year. Is it the world's longest 600 miler?
It is.
That was go forever.
The first 3 days, my gosh.
That's Stromboli. She's a world unto its own.
Absolutely. But prior to getting to Stromboli, first of all, Red Bandit taking out an IRC.
Yep.
It's a TP52.
It is a TP52.
08 era Mean Machine from memory.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But well done to them. It's took it out. Jesper Radic leading the team there. So well done to those guys and girls. But tough conditions. Tough conditions. I mean,
always.
And let's face it, we're talking about the region where the what boat was called, the big Perini Navi that tipped over.
Yeah. Bayesian, because it's mathematical theory. That's Bayesian. Right.
So
Bayesian theory.
Squalls. Speaking of squalls, so plenty of boat got knocked down, taken out with these particular squalls. Now, when we spoke about the Bayesian, the med's getting a little bit crazy, specifically around this little area. So it was not ideal. We got plenty of videos shown on social media or sent to us about some heinous conditions. So, yeah, hold on tight. One for you, one for the boat.
100%. And it's happening regularly. I mean, look at the RGN 600. It's there's some shit. There's shit going down.
Yeah, thanks to global warming, of course.
Well,
no such thing happening in the international 1 meter worlds, though, Jordan Spencer.
No.
It's just beautiful day after day. Plenty of rum storms is the only thing I'm hearing going on up in Gladstone.
Yeah.
So you want to talk us through it? Has Zvonko got the reverse curse? That's what I want to know.
The answer, my friends, is yes. It is insane. The intensity of the racing is quite insane. But yeah, we're 12 races in, and so there is quite the Croatian mafia here. And then there's big teams. There's 20 nations here, so it is quite good. It's probably the best. It's probably the most genuine world championships in that it's so easy to get their boats here that everyone, if you get a chance to if you qualify and get your spot, everyone turns up, sort of thing. So it has been quite good. There's been 2 guys
standouts
been battling each other. Like, there's some great sailors here, but Zvonko has been really, really good, and Ian Vickers, the Kiwi. So Zvonko's he's a builder and designer of his own boats, and then Vickers, he's a builder and designer of his own boats, right? And they are just watching each other like hawks, and they're swapping points at a time, and they're like always right next to each other, and it is pretty insane.
Do they literally on the dot when they are racing in the same fleet against each other, like side to side? Is there a bit of banter, or
I don't know if they're not necessarily. So Ian wouldn't be. They're both not exactly throwing a lot of words out, but I think it is quite intense. They really, really want this.
I'll tell you what's intense. So listening to the commentary, he's carrying a little bit less mid-leach. He's doing this, he's doing that. It's all about mid-leach with these boats. There's a lot of mid-leach discussion going on.
It's the easiest thing to see. I think it's the honest answer there, BP.
Oh, you're not talking about wind shear?
Yeah. No. I'm going to bring it in.
Yeah, do it.
Definitely. You're bringing wind shear in today.
Oh, if I'm on with Turts, I'm just going to throw it out because Turts will respond. That'll be good.
Looks like we've got a bit of a right-hand wind shear here at the moment.
Yeah.
Look at him in the left. There's definitely some right shear.
All right, it's on. It's going in. But look, this is really.
Well, for the listeners out there, just to make sure everyone understands that you are the commentator for the International 1 Metre Worlds. And if you want to get into it, I got into it over the last couple of days. It's fun. Have a listen to it. It's really cool.
Just go to the International 1 Metre Worlds website. It's a free stream on YouTube. You don't have to sign up to anything. There's a scammer out there trying to get money out of you.
How are the numbers actually on YouTube? Pretty high,
huge,
right?
Yeah, it's getting 10,000 views per day.
It's going nuts, mate. It's insane. And people,
my mum might even watch tomorrow.
Anyway, I got to tell you a story, boys. Spies. I didn't see this happen, so I was told. But Zvonko and Vickers are so focused on each other that, like it was B-Rig racing for one of their races. They came out and they both came out in A-Rigs, right? And so they're clearly watching each other and doing what the other is doing. And then for the last race yesterday, it's still B-Rig. Apparently, this is what I'm told. Zvonko had the A-Rig rigged, and so Vickers rigs up the A-Rig, starts walking out to the start line, and quickly the team come in and strip the A-Rig out of Zvonko's boat and drop the B-Rig in. And if you look at the result, like they've been a point apart or 2 points apart the whole race, whole regatta. Zvonko gets a 5th in that race. Ian got a 13th. Couldn't. And he sailed that boat really, really, really well. But that was a big one.
Just had too much mid-leach.
Yeah. Yep.
Sounds as though it's like dwarfs on a campsite. A little intense.
A little intense. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It was very fun. It's good. It's good watching. It's good. It's a good.
Well, you're talking about comments and banter when Josh Torpy came onto our site and said if only there was a class that was affordable, easy to store, and one design.
There you go, Torps. He's a happy man. He's doing plenty here as well. But yeah, good fun. I'm enjoying it. I really, 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 really enjoying it. I didn't think I'd be able to. I was a little worried.
That was a 4 really there, Bossy.
Well, I was worried I would be able to commentate it. Like there'd be some specifics that I couldn't pick up, but it's just like watching proper yacht racing, really technical.
I want you to do the sheer comment tomorrow, though.
Yeah, today, mate.
Yeah,
going live
today. Yeah,
going live.
Next event, boys. Yeah. Or have you got more on the?
No. It's good. Tune in. You'll enjoy it. I'll publish this as soon as we finish, actually, because I haven't got time otherwise. So yeah, it's gonna be good.
Next event, Sail GP, one of our favourites. That's probably back on the radar. Well, it is back on the radar for a lot of our America's Cup friends.
Yep.
Plenty of movement going on during the week. There's plenty of let's call it this. It's the trade period.
The draft period.
Yeah.
People back and forth.
Yeah.
Between various teams.
There's stuff happening.
More recently, we've seen Andy Maloney join Brazil.
Yeah.
Along with Chris Mason, Richard Mason. Pretty strong lineup, the Brazilian team. I'm liking it.
Absolutely.
I'm liking
it. Yeah. I can confirm that the most important one is that I will be there in Dubai because my travel tickets just turned up randomly in my email yesterday, so I guess I'm going. I spoke to Martine about that. So I think she's feeling the pressure a little bit. She's excited, but she will come on the show and talk to us about it. She just asked us if we could give her a little bit of space to let it settle down. But But yeah, excited.
Martine Helms-Person, of course.
Yeah, Martine Gray.
Yeah. With her brother on board, Marco.
Yeah, the first 2 signings.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Maybe Torben could step on.
Have
a full family show.
We're going to see Torben floating around, you know that.
Yeah. But it all kicks off in Dubai. In a month or so, Jordan?
Yeah. Is it less than?
And then
probably 3 weeks.
Jeez, Jordan, what is it? 12 boats with the 13th joining being the French miss.
It's 11 boats will start in Dubai
event. Yeah, and the French join at the second event because the 13th boat is being currently under build in New Zealand. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the French will join in Auckland. So 11 boats will be in the lineup. So we've got Italy and Brazil joining. And then, the French
get a hell of a lot of boats on that start line.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
It is
going to be awesome.
Loving it. They've
with
got
the T-foils now as well.
Yeah. That's right.
It's going to be interesting.
That is exactly right. So higher top speeds. So for the listener, the carbon foils have to build a certain cord thickness into the foil so they don't break or flex out, and that is reducing the top end speed. The America's Cup boats, they're basically, they're not trying to pull weight out of the boat because there's a weight element to the foil in the cup boat. There's a ballast element to it. So they were built out of stainless, and they could run thinner cords, and so they were thinner cord thickness, and so that's why they were getting the 55 knots that we saw, whereas SailGP hasn't got that. And now SailGP have built these titanium T-foils, and they are scary looking things. I don't know, boys. They are.
Yeah. Don't go near one at full speed, you're saying.
Oh, yeah. I was scared going near them when they were sitting on the ground, mate. Like, it's insane. Anyway.
Now, the other bit to add in there, which is an introduction this season, Jordan, and I can't even remember recording the last 2 episodes, but
neither can I.
Did we speak about the little propulsion system which is potentially being added to the SailGP boats? So it's a bit like in F1, where if you are behind, you have the option to hit your propulsion system to give yourself a little boost.
Really?
Are you up to speed with this one, Jordan, or not?
No, I have no idea where this one's coming from. I'm sorry.
You heard it here first, listeners.
Right.
But there will be some sort of electric propulsion on the SailGP boats.
Yeah,
that at some point in time you can hit the button maybe 3 times per race.
Right.
When you are behind.
Like a little computer game with a turbo button.
Right.
You overtake out of control and you got nowhere to go.
BP and I sitting here watching the setup, just going, what's coming? What's coming?
Yeah, what's coming? What's coming?
This may or may not be correct.
Yeah.
So, hey, Russ, if you're out there, it's a pretty good idea.
It's a great idea.
You heard it here first.
I love it. Cool. What else you got?
Little drop down propeller.
Oh, Jesus, what else I got? That is a very good question, my friends.
World Sailing Awards are on.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously,
yes. Yep. World Sailing Award. Oh, yes, exactly. So the contingent, the winners, state winners, all go to Sydney next week.
Yep.
For I gave some good advice to Matt Young yesterday.
Good on him.
Who will be up there based on last year when I went to the actual event at the start of the night. They said, look, there's a lot of prizes to give away. There's actually going to be no time for speeches. So cut loose on the red wine.
Drink your body weight in red wine.
Suddenly may or may not have led to a bit of gout. But
you and your gout.
Dear, oh dear. Cool.
All right, lads.
I think that's it, boys. From my side.
Yeah, very cool. I do think we do. You sent there's a hoodie order for the people putting hoodie orders in this week. I'll send them when I get back to my desk next week in a couple of days. So if you're waiting on hoodie orders, they'll be coming. I'm nowhere near the hoodies at the moment.
So getting quick, there's only a few left. And I'm guessing we're not far away from the new Vycobi sun shirt.
Oh, yeah, that's happening.
So
now. We've finally got it worked out.
We'll let you know.
We've finally got it. We needed you back in the country for it to work out. So thanks for coming back.
Well done.
Yeah, so that's looking really good, actually. I was really quite happy with what we finally got to. So, and they'll be there in perpetuity. You can just jump on to the Vycobi website once they're up and going. So that'll be good. Cool, boys. Nice. Another great week. Thanks for the chat. I guess we'll kick out. And remember, of course, if you do want to send us anything for a chance to win the Vycobi Listener of the Week, just cheers at barkarate.com. I was commentating the 1 meters, and this lady said, I look too skinny. So she gave me this bloody hazelnut cookie. And it was
yeah, righto.
It was brilliant. Yeah, it wasn't. No, I know where you're going, but it was really, really good. And her
and then you got really hungry afterwards as well.
Is that when you talked about tie-dye coloured boats?
But her email address
I do watch the show, you know. You were talking about tie-dye coloured boats.
I know. Her email address was yum at blah, 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 blah. So I thought it was quite clever. She copied us. But anyway, it's
good.
cheers@barker80.com if you want to reach out. And, of course, remember, if you head into Radix Nutrition and use Barker80 as the discount code, you can get a discount on us and start loading your boat up for all the major events coming. And, you know, maybe you'll get a bit of the reverse curse just from grabbing some rabbits. Who knows?
That's highly possible. Righto, guys.
Yeah, boys.
That reverse curse is so powerful. Like, it is a really tough thing to beat. All right. See you, everyone.
See you later.
Going for it here, didn't
Yeah. See ya.